Hello everyone. Today we're going to be going over how to do amortizations of bonds, and to really kick off this lab we're going to start off by uploading our instructions so we know what we're going to be doing, and we're going to download this. And this will walk you through step by step on what exactly you need to be getting done throughout this lab. And it's just processing right now. So to start it off, we're going to be opening up ChatGPT, and we're going to start a new chat. This will ensure that everything's clear before you start getting in to all your other data sets. And then now you're going to simply just upload the data that is required for this lab. You just do this by downloading. We're going to go back to ChatGPT and then just input this right here. And then what we're going to say for our first prompt with this is basically make this visible into a table format. So now this will clean up the data basically and just display all the different types of bonds that we have on we're about to conduct the amortization for. So we're going to now direct our attention to prompt 3. We're going to use these inputs and figure out what the issuance price was for each of these. And then ChatGPT is going to go through and classify each one of these if they're at a discount, premium, or par. And then that is for your prompt 3. And now we're going to direct to prompt 4. So now we're going to calculate it. I'm just saving some time here by copy and pasting, but now it's going to calculate the issuance for each of these bonds and tell it to round to the nearest dollar, because sometimes it'll be a little glitchy at times. But so here's the issuance price right here, and that is your next prompt. And now we go to prompt 5. After we find our issuance price, we're now going to use the effective interest method. And this, we're going to tell it to display our first period and last period of the amortized bonds, so we can really see how it's calculated. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time analyzing. And ChatGPT will then output the effective interest method using the amortization. And this will display the 20 bonds that we have within our data set. And then that will conclude prompt 5. And then now we're going to analyze the data. Now we're going to go in and basically just say, hey, we want to know what we're going to be getting back. And we want to know what's the most profitable one. So we're going to tell it to calculate which bond is most profitable. And we're going to determine this by the issuance price and how much interest is received and the overall return that will be outputted through these bonds. So as you can see, ChatGPT will then tell us how much our percentages of ROI through each one of these bonds is, and it'll tell us which one is the best and most profitable. And that will conclude prompt 6. And then now for prompt 7, we're going to tell it to provide basically the 5 most profitable bonds, because we are business people and we want to understand which ones we want to be putting our money in. So then that will be bond 2, bond 19, bond 15, 6, and 12. That's a pretty good return on investment as well. And finally, our last prompt, we're going to tell ChatGPT to finally just label this and tell it, hey, we want to submit this to our professor, and label it submission 1. And it's going to create an Excel data set with the 5 most profitable bonds that you will be turning into your professor. So then you will download this, and that will conclude all those prompts for this lab. And then based on that information, you can go through and answer this assessment question and 1 through 5 and the open-ended assessment question. And that'll conclude this lab.